if there is too much heat, like sex, some animals, sex differentiation is dependent on temperatures and so on. So it can easily change, you know. But usually in the papers, for some model organism, it's considered to be like similar, and you just show changes which were done in your research. Is it okay?
Thank you for your presentation. So I have friends that are doing like a PhD at university hospital. And when I talk with them about, for instance, genetic assimilation, it's a hard conversation to have. So I was wondering, do you also see a negative role of metaphors in getting some biological concepts accepted by the wider community?
I mean, I know that there is this interpretation of metaphors that, in a sense, they can hinder your creativity or thinking, because even the metaphors canalize your thinking, right? So then you cannot think of something else which would be possible because you have this specific metaphor. So that would be maybe disadvantage of a metaphor. But I don't think that in this case the metaphor itself can be blamed for not accepting genetic assimilation, if this is what you ask. Because I think it is more ideologically based, in the sense that there are like different streams of biology you can observe now. There is this eco-ego approach which emphasizes the role of development and that these relationships and causality is really reciprocal. And they accept genetic assimilation as such, and they even, and myself, it is a part of my evolutionary view. I have a quite different evolutionary view than, for example, people who are more interested in population genetics, a study of genes, and considering genes as the only causal factor. But these are like two branches, or maybe there are definitely more yet, right? But like from my point of view, I consider it like this. And but this before, in time of Wellington, rather marginal stream is getting bigger.
Other questions or comments?
Very excellent presentation.
I'm not good. Unfortunately, not this year.
Why not?
Okay. Because I was finishing my book, Ludmila presented, so I was swamped. I wasn't able to come up with anything good. But next year. So no questions concerning epigenetics. Just my absence in Copenhagen.
Okay, so Oscar wants to ask you about epigenetics.
Could you please elaborate on your take on Hoffmeyer's evolutionary view about abiogenesis, or in general, what is your position about abiogenesis, or the process necessary for the emergence of life?
You mean for the emergence of life on our planet, or for development?
The first one.
The first one. Okay, I don't remember Hoffmeyer's point at that point, but the book Ludmila showed us. We actually believe that the cells evolved in communities, like there was not a single cells communicating. And quite early in the evolution, this norm became established, because you can observe that there is a lot of shared processes. Not only these genes I talked about, this it's called zoo type or box genes, but they are like even with the very distant species, we share a lot of receptors, neurotransmitters, and so on. So we believe that these two groups of organisms, these three types of cell, they developed together, and they established this norm, and they are using it until now. And this norm is quite conservative, but then epigenetics can play with it. That's my view. Was it the answer?
Yes, for sure. The story would be symbiosis.
Symbiosis, yeah, that's
Symbiosis.
your symbiosis, but also symbiosis. Yeah, I mean, we have this view that we have this framework, symbiotic framework for interpretative processes in biology, of course. Yeah.
I have one question. We still have time. So